Oh, yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
It's a very dangerous animal. A lot of people have tried to flatten it. Since I can remember in show business, Mom Smavely, Pigmeat Markham, Slappy White, Red Fox, Richie Pryor, have all tried to flatten it so it wouldn't have the meaning and stuff, but it does have the meaning. It is designed to be derogatory, and it is an expression of hate. And as I said, with significant tone, it has the ability inside the family, I think, to be the most affectionate and loving or the most hostile. All you got to do is change the AZ or the GA to the ER, and it's still right back where we started.
As for example, Mr. Haley. He thought first of Tom's length and breadth and height, and what he would sell for if he was kept fat and in good case till he got him into market. He thought of how he should make out his gang. He thought of the respective market value of certain men and women and children who were to compose it, and other kindred topics of the business. And then he thought of himself, and how humane he was. That whereas other men chained their niggas hand and foot both, he only put fetters on the feet and left Tom the use of his hands, as long as he behaved well. And he sighed to think how ungrateful human nature was, so that there was even room to doubt whether Tom appreciated his mercies. He had been taken in so by niggas whom he had favored. But still, he was astonished to consider how good-natured he yet remained. Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe.
We came here in a situation of duress that was very different from any other group of people. The formation of our group has been around that word.
They certainly worked like niggers as they cleared away the ant heap for me to take off.
I say this to people who say, you know, we all had to come over to this country and be as some of my mothers were. I say, well, you weren't brought over in the hold of a ship, and half of them died on the way. And you weren't whipped and so forth, and your wife wasn't raped, and then you were fucking hung. You know, I say, man, it's a different deal. Slavery is what makes that word more electric.
Let's get into the inner workings and the meaning of this.
Word. The origin of the word nigga.
Nigga, nigga, nigga.
I'm not really aware of the etymology of it, but I assume that it comes from Negro.
Nigga, 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 nigga.
It derived from Niger.
Well, that's close.
It's a slang.
South American, Brazilian origin, I think. They just put the twang on it.
5 local niggers.
It grew out of that into something else, from which nigger grew from Negro. I don't know.
I'm sure it's prehistoric, almost.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of explanations, but none of them, I never bought any of them.
Who knows where it came from? I think some guy just said, hey, nigga, and that was it.
The term nigger has been traced back to the 17th century, and etymologists believe that it's derived from the Latin word for black, N-I-G-E-R.
The first 20 slaves who were brought to Jamestown were called negers, which is Dutch.
Now the Dutch were using the word neger. And now if you notice, that's how it was said, and this was not a literate culture, the slave trade culture.
Over the years, that term was written in other places. The spelling of the word also changed. You would later see it N-E-G-E-R. You would see it N-I-G-G-O-R.
If the Spanish and the French initially meant negre to mean black and didn't have a derogatory term, we don't really know that.
But clearly by the first third of the 19th century, you begin to see the word written in print as N-I-G-G-E-R. And so that was the version or the spelling of nigger that persisted right on through the 19th and right on through the 20th century.
Oxford English Dictionary definitions. Nigger jockey. A gentleman that trades in niggers. He buys them in one state and sells them in another where they are not known. Niggery. Of or belonging to the characteristic of Negroes. Niggerize. To treat with contempt or act or dress up as a Negro. Nigger corner. the part of a public building in which Negroes were confined, or a corner where niggas hang out. Nigga stick, an officer's baton. Nigga heaven, the top gallery of a movie theater. Nigga rich, payday.
It's a word that has many meanings. Many words have many meanings, and nigger is no exception. Definition 1 is a word that a white or another non-African American person uses to indicate that a black person is of inferior caste.
If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you... Don't say it. Nigga. He said it.
Okay, it's just a word. And words are words. But what comes right after the word is the activity. And the activity of being treated like a nigger is always in the air.
Even when we've had our worst fights, you've never called me nigger.
That doesn't mean it never crossed my mind.
People call you nigger all the time without saying it. Every day. Just on how on their actions and how they treat you.
So we went home, we was going home, and my brother told me I was a nigger. And I looked at this sucker because I didn't know what a nigga was, you know. But these white boys, they identified with him because he was light-skinned. Dig? So he went and he told my mother that I was a black nigger and that he was a white boy.
Well, you know something?
You dig?
Well.
But dig, but see, my mother's bad. My mother checked that out and so she said, okay, cool, well then I'm not your mother. Because all my kids are niggas.
Definition 2, and I think of this as just as legitimate and alive as definition 1, is word used as an affectionate leveler among African Americans, mainly male ones. And in that, we're just human. There are many words in many languages which are used in that exact same meaning. Russian men often will talk about the positive qualities of being what they call a mujik. A mujik is a peasant. The original terminology was a rather lowly person.
When I got into service and I began to hang close with the black, you know, day in, day out, night in, night out, I would hear the affectionate use of it between blacks that you hear today, and that's one of the things people say. Well, they can say, hey, nigga, what are you doing? It's just, you know, it's, hey, motherfucker, it's the same as, hey, you, hey, nigga, what's going on, you know? But the trouble is, the word didn't come from that. It came from, you know.
We use it with love, you know, with our friends, within our family, but we would never say it someone that we didn't know at all. Like, you know, nigga, come here. Excuse me, who are you talking to? No. In our family, we say it as love.
When somebody say, hey, that's my nigga right there. What's that mean? Slave masters said it forever. Hey, what you doing with that? That's my, you know, it's a bad mentality. It's a bad thing that goes back. And a lot of times we forget exactly what it is.
You know, it's not a negative term, you know, when I'm, you know, saying it to my boys, you know. It's just like, you know, sometimes I say, well, oh, what's up, motherfucker? You know, it's like, you know, it's just a friendly, you know, friendly banner.
But in my day-to-day speech, do I use nigger or nigga? No, I have friends who do. I have friends who embrace me. Good to see you, my nigga. Am I upset with them? No. Do I say to them, good to see you, my nigga? No, I don't.
I think it only bothers me in the historical sense. It only bothers me that it shows me they don't really have an appreciation for what those who went before them suffered and the things they fought for. And how, for the people who went before, for many of them, it was a small battle to get people to stop using that.
When I use it is usually when I talk to my girlfriend. Because somebody's usually not acting right. And then we got to go there.
Definition 3 is another one current among African Americans, which is a class designation, which is to imply that the nigger is an African American who doesn't know how to behave.
Anytime a brother would shoot another brother in his own neighborhood, then go to his funeral and turn over his own casket, they need to have the police down there. Because, see, the niggas is NAACP, and niggas ain't acting like colored people, and we can't stand that.
I've heard blacks use the word nigger. I've heard them use it to distinguish among different kinds of blacks. You know, well, I don't know what they would say about the guy but the guy who they felt his behavior was more, I don't know, more damaging to their cause or whatever. But so that's interesting to me.
I love black people, but I hate niggas, boy. Oh, I hate niggas. Boy, I wish they'd let me join the Ku Klux Klan. You know, it's weird when if I get mad at a black person and say nigger, if I say, you know, so-and-so, what was that nigga thinking? It's weird because I'm also, not only am I mad at that particular black person, I'm mad at that black person for doing that thing. And I'm also know that that action will affect me in some way.
The nigga will say some shit like, I ain't never been to jail. What, you want a cookie? You're not supposed to go to jail, you low expectation having motherfucker.
I know that it only takes a few people to mess it up for a bunch of people.
Definition 4 is one that's becoming quietly but increasingly prevalent among non-African Americans, which is a term that you see particularly Asian teens and Latino teens using among one another to imply another one of these leveling effects, which is my good friend who's no better or no worse than me. This is an A-OK kind of person.